Welcome back to the Return to the Academy of Early Learning, Part 2. In Part 1, we heard how the Great Wise Z had asked the Spacelings to return to the Academy. He explained that their old professor, the Grand Flabbermaster, was having problems with a young pupil called Ibby, one of 3 students visiting from the planet the Cat's Eye Nebula. It appeared that Ibby was lying and cheating on his exams. The professor felt Ibby had great promise and was unsure as to why he should be acting the way he was. The Spacelings soon arrived on the planet Juvenescence, and after a short meeting with the professor, they were introduced to Popolina and the overbearing and annoying Mr. Schmoozy. In this episode, we meet Ibby and find out the truth about lying.
Here he is, Mr. Ibby Fibby himself. Come and join us, Fib,
mocked Schmoozy.
Come and meet Zara and her 2 friends who kind of help her out with her music band.
I'm sorry about Mr. Schmoozy. He's always loud and can be very annoying sometimes. He thinks he's a bit of a smarty pants. But anyway, hello, I'm Ibby, and it's a great pleasure to meet you all. It's nice to meet you too,
said Zara, speaking for all 3 Spacelings. Zog joined in.
Are you all enjoying your time here with the professor?
Schmoozy bragged.
Yeah, it's been great. We're all about to graduate and get our diplomas. Well, at least 2 of us, anyway. Me and Popolina.
Ibby whispered under his breath.
Popolina and I.
Do you know, Ibby here has failed his maths exam more times than he can count.
Realising that no one laughed at his silly little joke, he smirked on.
He's also having a bit of trouble with copying the right answers from other people's exam papers. Isn't that right, Ibby?
Ibby quietly spoke up and looking at Popolina said,
I have never cheated or lied. I have studied very hard and find all of the exam questions straightforward. My parents always said, never lie to someone who trusts you, and never trust someone who lies to you.
Zara whispered to Zig.
I think Popolina has an admirer.
Yeah, shame you're not getting top marks then, eh?
Chuckled Schmoozy. Popolina sighed.
Please stop picking on Ibby, Schmoozy. He's trying hard, like all of us, to graduate. And if there's one thing worse than knowing too little, it's knowing too much. Although education will broaden a narrow mind, there's no known cure for a big head.
Schmoozy, actually thinking he'd just been complimented, exclaimed loudly,
Thanks, Popolina, babe. I knew you would understand.
Zog asked Ibby outright.
Are you aware that the professor thinks you're cheating by copying Popolina's answers in the exams? Oh yes, of course,
said Ibby.
Ever since we arrived, I heard people thought I would hornswoggle them. I knew someone was spreading rumours about me. That's why almost everyone was calling me Ibby Fibby.
Zig whispered to Zara.
What is hornswoggle?
Zara whispered back.
To trick or deceive someone. Now I remember.
Zig smiled.
Why didn't you tell someone?
Zog asked.
I didn't want to cause any trouble. I knew someone was swapping my exam papers with theirs. I thought if I told the professor, Popolina might think I was a telltale and causing trouble. And I just didn't want her to think badly of me.
Really?
Said Popolina surprisingly and admiringly. Schmoozy barged in.
Hey, what's green and has wheels? Grass. I lied about the wheels.
He chuckled.
So what's the big deal?
Unbeknown to all in the lecture room, the Grand Flabbermaster had been listening to everything. He spoke up and made his presence known. He asked Mr. Schmoozy,
If I asked you the answer to question number 9 from your last exam, would you know the answer?
Mr. Schmoozy's confidence suddenly disappeared.
I'm not so sure, sir,
mumbled Schmoozy.
Well, if you always tell the truth, you never have to remember anything. You'll always know because you don't have to try and remember the lie you told.
stated the professor, and continued.
Would you like me to ask some questions? Maybe some of the difficult ones I asked Bibby in my office. Okay, I did cheat. I copied all of Ibby's answers. I've always known how clever he really is.
Schmoozy whimpered.
I didn't know any of the answers. I just wanted to be top of the class. I swapped my papers with Ibby's. I did it because I don't really have any confidence at all. I just pretend I have. I find it so hard to study, and I just want everyone to like me. I am truly sorry.
The room was silent. The professor, looking sternly, and without one stutter, stated,
Let me tell you the truth about lying, Mr. Schmoozy. The reason lying is bad is because a truthful universe is a good place. Lying devalues trust. Nobody believes a liar, even when they are telling the truth. But, Mr. Schmoozy, do I believe what you've just told everyone is the truth? On this occasion, I do. This is the end of term, so Popolina and Ibby will be leaving with honours. But you, Mr. Schmoozy, will be remaining, and you will take and pass your next exam without any help from anyone, except yourself.
A reformed Mr. Schmoozy said,
Thank you for giving me another chance, sir. I won't let you down. I'm sure of that,
remarked the professor.
This is no school for fools.
Mr. Schmoozy apologized to everyone once more. The professor looked at Popolina and Ibby and smiled, which said more than words could ever say. He then thanked the spacelings and wished them a safe journey home. Then he left the room with Mr. Schmoozy. Popolina and Ibby thanked Zig, Zog and Zara for all their help.
You're very welcome,
said Zog, speaking for all three spacelings. Then Zara added,
It was wonderful to meet you both, and we hope to see you again sometime soon.
As the spacelings were leaving the room, the lights dimmed. The spacelings turned around to see Ibby had moved to the lecture room stage, so they remained to watch Ibby as he sung to Popolina.
Look at me, I'm just like you. Why would I lie? Everything I say is true. With all my heart, I can't take the truth away. I need somewhere to hide away, to find a place where children play, where we're free. No one can find us anymore. You know the truth is hard for me. Oh, I can't make you see that us together we can fly away, so we can change our lives to be you and me, forever free. Take a look at me, I'm just like you. Why would I lie? Everything I say is true. With all my heart, I can't take the truth away. I need somewhere to hide away, to find a place where children play, where we're free. No one can find us anymore.
Popolina, with her heart fluttering, said,
Oh, Ibby, that was so beautiful.
Will you come away with me, Popolina?
Ibby asked.
Of course I will, Ibby.
Replied Popolina excitedly. At that point, Zara turned to Zig and Zog and sighed.
What a beautiful voice.
Zig whispered to Zog.
I think Ibby has another admirer.
They were soon back at their craft, and the spacelings set their capsule for homeward bound. They could see Ibby and Popolina smiling as they left in their bubble craft. Zara coordinated the final checks, then gave the all-clear signal for liftoff. Zig powered up the craft, and then were on their way home. A few seconds later, Zog noticed a light on their communications panel, indicating they had a message. Zog pressed the play button, and the voice of the great wise Zed spoke.
Once again, I am very proud of you all. The Grand Flabbermaster has contacted me with a full report and said your contribution was exceptional.
The wise Zed continued.
I also agree. Ibby shows great promise. His example, never lie to someone who trusts you, and never trust somebody who lies to you, was perfect.
Hi, to all of our young friends everywhere.
We hope you enjoyed our latest adventure. One of the lessons we learned at the early learning school was about safety. We were told never to talk to or accept sweets from strangers. And should anyone ever come to you and say, your mummy, daddy, brother or sister needs you urgently,
Before you even think about going with them, they would need to tell you the magic secret word. A word that only you and your family know.
this would confirm that they were telling you the truth. This particular word has to be something very special to you and your family.
Perhaps your favourite squishy, squashy, cuddly toy's name, or maybe even a character from your favourite book. Remember, this word is only for you and your family to know.
Never tell anyone else. Love to you all.
Zig, Zog,
and Zara.